Hi and welcome back to Our House to Homestead. Join my family and I as we convert our house on the outskirts of Auckland, New Zealand into a homestead where we grow, harvest and cook our own food from scratch. On today's episode we're going to look at the humble potato. Potatoes are a big deal for my family. We eat them quite often. One of the things that we want to focus on while we're developing our homestead is to grow and produce food that we actually eat a lot of. It's been a busy time at the homestead this weekend. We've just had a bank holiday weekend, so we've had 3 days off. And Ben and I have managed to successfully complete the orchard, which is really exciting. And Ben's built me a planter box, which is going to be for my vegetable garden. It's part of a long-term plan of us developing the area where all the vegetables are, but this box will be moved and relocated in this area when the final plan comes to fruition. I'm really excited to show you guys the development of both the orchard and the vegetable garden, so follow me along to see how we get on. We've chosen to put our potato garden in the middle of the orchard. What I was planning was on the orchard, it's on a bit of a slope. It is north facing, which in the southern hemisphere is where the sun's direction is, so that's great for warmth and for light. What I wanted to do was allow the slope to let any of the nutrients from the fruit trees filter down underneath the potatoes, but also any of the nutrients in the potato garden will filter down into the trees below. Potatoes are really easy to grow. All potatoes need is obviously warmth, a bit of space and loose organic matter in their substrate that they grow in. This is our first year of growing potatoes here, and it will be a little bit experimental until I figure out what our soil type is and how it works. We have a lot of clay in our soil, so about 30 centimetres down we hit clay. What I've chosen to do is a method where I've laid cardboard out, and then on top of that I've put organic matter. I'm using compost, and then on top of the compost I am mounding it up and popping my potato on, and then covering the potato in compost, and then a little bit of topsoil, and then mulch on top of that to keep it nice and moist. What I will be doing is as soon as those shoots reach the surface, I'm going to keep mounding organic matter on top and allowing the tubers to grow beneath that level. Potatoes are an important crop for us as we eat them quite a lot, and getting organic potatoes can be really expensive. So I'm going to do my best this season to grow potatoes for us for the coming year. I'm going to stagger 2 crops. So what you're watching me put in now is going to be the first crop in spring, and then later on in late summer or early autumn I'm going to pop some more down. Those ones will require a lot less storage. Alright, let me walk you through the process of producing the potato garden. Firstly, I got into the compost that I've prepared for the last 6 months at our place. This is a hot compost and I've been turning it regularly, and now it's reached the point of maturation. You'll see that there's a lot of worms in there, and most of it has broken down and it's ready to be used. Taking this compost around to the potato garden, I was really careful to get as much as I could, because this compost has lots of worms and live microorganisms within it, and the compost that I've bought doesn't have as much. So you can see my cardboard there. I've laid out some compost to keep it flat while I'm working, and then I literally work to cover the whole thing in a mixture of my homemade compost and the compost that I've purchased. This is the compost that I've purchased, and fortunately it's been dumped right by my orchard so I can use it for all of the planting. Now I'm working through the compost to create 2 rows. I'm wanting to mound them up so that there's room for the potatoes to grow roots underneath. So both rows are fairly even, and now I can set about placing all my potatoes out. I've done 2 different varieties. One's an early crop and one's a later crop. So as I described before, I placed a moundful of compost on top of each potato, followed by a mound of potting mix or topsoil. I sprinkled some sheep pellets down the sides of each garden to provide some nutrients, and then finally on top of that I've put wet mulch. So I made sure that I mixed the mulch in water so that it would retain some moisture. And now I set about adding compost to each of them, followed by potting mix, and then followed by the mulch. I carefully mound the potatoes so that they'll stay where they are and they have lots of nutrient-rich organic matter on top of them. And then I spread some more sheep pellets out so that they can break down and filter through as it rains. Thanks for following the development of our first potato crop here at our homestead. I hope you managed to take away a tip or 2 to get your potato garden started in spring. Follow along to see how the potatoes grow, and then further down the track I will show you how I plan to store them. Details for any products and equipment used are in the description below. Hit subscribe to follow along with all of the developments on Our House to Homestead. I'll be posting more videos on growing, harvesting and cooking our food. Don't miss out. See you next week, team.